What if there was a cosmic report card for entire civilizations? I mean, a scale that measures everything from planets just getting their start all the way up to beings who basically mastered the universe itself. Well, today we're going to dive in and find out exactly where humanity fits on that scale.
So, let's just jump right in with the big question. After everything we've done, splitting the atom, walking on the moon, connecting the entire globe with the internet, how advanced are we really? I mean, when you judge us against the vast backdrop of the cosmos, what's our grade?
And there it is. That's our score. Not a 1, not even a 0.9. We're a 0.7276. It's so specific, isn't it? And you got to admit, it feels a little low, right?
What that number really means is that we are a Type 0 civilization. On this huge cosmic stage, we are basically infants. We haven't even mastered our own cradle yet. So how in the world did we get this grade? And what does the rest of this scale even look like?
Okay, so where did this whole idea of a Kardashev scale even come from? Well, our story starts not with some grand theory, but with a really strange signal from deep space, and the brilliant Soviet astrophysicist who tried to make sense of it all, a guy named Nikolai Kardashev. Picture this, it's the early 1960s, and astronomers are completely baffled by this radio source called CTA-102. It was incredibly far away, so it should have been faint, but it wasn't. It was blindingly bright. For 3 whole years, Kardashev just dug into it, and after he ruled out every natural cause he could possibly think of, he landed on this wild conclusion. This wasn't a star. It had to be a piece of alien technology, a kind of cosmic lighthouse built by a civilization far, far beyond our own. And for Kardashev, the existence of civilizations like that wasn't just possible. It was logical. He argued that it's kind of absurd for a universe this vast, this incomprehensibly huge, to exist just for one tiny little planet, for a single grain of sand on an infinite beach. There had to be others out there, and a lot of them would be way, way older than us.
But how could you possibly measure such different civilizations? I mean, they could be solid, liquid, pure thought, anything. And Kardashev's genius was realizing that no matter what a civilization looks like, they all need one thing to grow and expand: energy. So the total amount of energy a civilization can harness becomes the ultimate, universal measuring stick.
Which brings us right back to our own grade. So what does being a Type 0 civilization with a score of 0.7276 actually mean for us, right here, right now?
Well, it means we're a civilization that still kind of feeds on the dead. Our societies are powered by burning the finite, fossilized remains of ancient life, oil, coal, and gas. This total reliance on our planet's limited resources and all the conflicts it causes is really the hallmark of a Type 0. So, based on our total energy consumption back in 2021, we clock in at that 0.7276. And at our current pace, it's going to take us another 200 years just to reach the very first rung on the ladder.
So if we're not even on the first rung, what does the rest of the ladder even look like? Kardashev originally laid out 3 main types of civilizations, and each one represents a huge quantum leap in power. Okay, a Type 1 civilization has achieved complete mastery over its homeworld. Think about a unified planet that can control its own weather, prevent earthquakes, and basically harvests every last bit of energy from its star that hits the surface. Then a Type 2 has completely outgrown its home planet and captures the total energy output of its star. And a Type 3? Well, a Type 3 controls the power of its entire home galaxy. We're talking about 100 billion stars.
The technological jump just to get to Type 1 is immense. It means moving beyond our current, pretty inefficient energy sources, even beyond nuclear fission, which is what we have now, to completely mastering nuclear fusion. But it's so much more than just technology. It implies a total political and social shift. I mean, a single planetary energy grid? That requires a level of global cooperation we can barely even imagine today. It would mean the end of energy scarcity and probably the end of nations fighting over.
Now, to make the jump to Type 2, you need something even more audacious. You need what's called a Dyson sphere. This is a hypothetical megastructure, basically an artificial shell built around an entire star to capture every single watt of energy it produces. It is the ultimate power plant. And the timescales here are just staggering. Getting from where we are now to a unified planetary civilization might take a couple hundred years, but the journey from a planetary to a stellar civilization, that could take anywhere from 100,000 to a full million years. And beyond that, to Type 3, we're talking about millions more.
Kardashev himself actually stopped at Type 3, probably thinking it was the theoretical limit. But of course, other thinkers have pushed the scale way further into realms that start to border on magic and even divinity.
So a Type 4 civilization could harness the power of supernovas and may have completely shed their physical bodies. A Type 5 could travel between parallel universes, drawing energy from things we can only theorize about, like white holes. A Type 6 might exist across multiple dimensions at once, treating time not like a flowing river, but like a physical landscape they can just visit. And finally, a Type 7. It's no longer a civilization at all. It is existence itself, the creator, God.
Okay, I know, this all feels like incredible science fiction, but the whole point of the scale wasn't just to speculate. It was a guide for what we should be looking for out there. So, what if we've already found something? Let's come back from the far, far future to a very real and very strange mystery that's happening right now.
In 2015, astronomers were looking at this star 1,480 light-years away. They nicknamed it Tabby Star, and they saw something bizarre. You know, stars sometimes dim when planets pass in front of them. That's normal. But the dimming of Tabby Star wasn't regular, it wasn't predictable, and the sheer scale of it was totally unprecedented. Just to put this in perspective for you, when Jupiter, the biggest planet in our solar system, passes in front of our Sun, it blocks about 1% of its light. The object or objects blocking Tabby Star caused its light to dip by a staggering 22%. No known natural object could possibly do that, but a massive, orbiting artificial structure, say an incomplete Dyson sphere, yeah, that could.
For years, it was just this deep cosmic puzzle. But then, in 2021, the story took an even stranger turn. A Chinese observatory detected over 500 bursts of extremely powerful cosmic rays, the strongest ever recorded, all coming from the exact same little patch of sky as Tabby Star.
Look, this wasn't random cosmic noise. The rays were actually described as laser-like. They were incredibly focused. To send a beam with that much power and that much precision across 1,480 light-years and have it hit a target as tiny as Earth, that is not an accident. That's a message. It implies that a Type 2 civilization capable of harnessing a star's power not only exists, but it knows we're here.
Which brings us to a final, really profound question. This entire cosmic report card, from the Type 0 infants like us, all the way to Type 7 gods, might not just be a theoretical exercise anymore. If a civilization that advanced has actually found us and has decided to say hello, what on earth should we do now? Should we answer?